Well, hello and welcome to Talk Leadership with Cedrick. You know, everybody needs a little TLC, and I am Cedrick LaFleur, your host, and I'm so excited to be here with you tonight. Thank you for tuning in. You know, Talk Leadership with Cedrick is where we focus on leadership and personal growth with business leaders, educators, and local thought leaders. Our goal is to introduce our audience to leaders who are making an impact with innovative ideas. Now, folks, let me tell you what, tonight we're going to have us a really good show. Now, you know, our guiding leadership principle is the law of contribution, which says growing yourself enables you to grow others. See, you can't give what you don't have, so you must first grow yourself in order to grow others. Now, we believe that outstanding leaders like yourself will help us to grow others. So tonight, folks, tonight, we have another dynamic leader with us. Now, welcome Miss Bella Cruz to the show. Welcome, Bella.
Hi, Cedrick. Thank you so much for having me here with you today. I'm really excited to be here.
Well, thank you. Now, every night, folks, you know I like to do a proper introduction of my guests. So let me do a proper introduction of my guest. My guest tonight, again, is Miss Bella Cruz, who is an expert in developing leaders, engaging teams, and igniting entrepreneurial growth. I mean, just right there, that tells you she's phenomenal. So we're excited to have her tonight. She has leveraged over 25 years of expertise in the corporate world to become an Amazon best-selling international author. She's an award-winning global motivational speaker. She's a philanthropist, and she has earned her master's degree and is the CEO of Bella Cruz Enterprises. Now that just rolls off your tongue, right?
They say Bella Cruz does roll off people's tongues. It sure does.
So Bella's biggest lessons have been through her struggles and trials of being homeless and a single parent. Today, she uses those lessons to help others turn challenges into breakthroughs. Let me say that again. She uses her lessons to help others turn challenges into breakthroughs. Folks, it's going to be a phenomenal show tonight, right? Bella's passion is to build leaders at all levels in small and large corporations to help individuals transitioning into new careers or into becoming an entrepreneur. Now, as an award-winning author, Bella's new book, Please Fire Me. Now that right there, you know, that's an awesome name, by the way. Please Fire Me. I Can't Stand My Boss delivers sharp insights and practical advice through 7 principles that include do's and don'ts of a high trust, accountable leader. Bella is also the creator of the revolutionary accountability performance model. So we're excited to have her on the show tonight. And folks, let me give you a little bit more about Bella, and then we're going to dive into this interview with Bella. She recently was featured on the cover of Powerhouse Global magazine in the UK, and she received the Celebrating Global Leaders Award for Inspirational Speaker of the Year for professional excellence and service to humanity by Powerhouse Global LTC. And in Cairo, Egypt, she received the International Exceptional Woman of Excellence Award by the Women Economic Forum. Now, that's just awesome, folks. And we're excited to have you here tonight.
Thank you, Cedrick. And I'm very honored to be here with you because I know that we could go on about you as well. Financial planner, masters, John Maxwell, executive director. I mean, you've got all of that plus more. So I'm really excited to be here.
Tonight, though, is nothing about what he said. It's all about Bella Cruz.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about you tonight. We're going to shine the spotlight on Bella. So, folks, I want you to get your pens and paper ready because she's about to share some stuff with you that's going to change your life. And she says, fire me, please. Right? So, Bella, tell us, I read your resume, right? But tell us a little bit about your leadership journey and how did you get to where you are today?
Well, I started off working for the Air Force. And I worked for the Air Force. I wasn't in the military. I always want to say that because people right away think I was in the military, but it was an absolute honor working for them. And today, the military soldier is my hero because of it. I just love the military. Well, there I had an opportunity. I had started off at that time. I didn't have a degree. I was going to start working on it. And I actually started working. I got promoted to be a colonel secretary at the Air Force, right?
Okay.
And then I started going to school. And then my boss at that time, Colonel, he told me that I had been trying to look for other jobs, right? And he told me, I didn't let you move while I was here. I know that was selfish, but you know what? I got a job for you. And I was thrown into training. I was thrown into training and facilitating. And very early on, I was in, sessions with teams, facilitating to colonels and generals. And then we'd move on to do training for the military and civilian force. So that's how I started my career. And I've loved it. I really have learned so much. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I was in the United States Air Force, so you were in good hands then.
Oh, good. I loved working for the Air Force. It was one of my favorite places to work. I absolutely loved working for the military.
Well, that is awesome. So, I really love your logo. I just love the black and gold, and the B and C just kind of stands out as like bold and just stays there. Bella Cruz.
And I do have a new one because I am actually, now I have a name for my leadership platform. And I just got the LLC for that. It's brand new. It's called Created to Lead, and the number 2, lead. So I'm going to be having programs and I'm going to be having products around that line. So that's going to be my leadership platform.
You have a news breaking moment right there. And you told us that for the first time.
Yeah, right, it just happened this last week, so I was excited. And
awesome.
Actually, so I'm really excited about it. Created to Lead will be my platform name for leadership.
Created to Lead, and
that's the number 2, not the T.
I like that. Awesome. Well, congratulations on that. And I was actually, my next question was going to be, tell us a little bit about your business. It looks like you have a lot. So there's several components to your business. So that's kind of what I want to unpack and unpeel. You have your authorship, you have your speaking, and then you have your Created to Lead. Now, so give us a little bit about your business and what all you do.
Well, for over 25 years, I've been working in the corporate world with leaders at all levels. I have and employees at all levels. Oh my goodness, I have conducted, Cedrick, probably thousands and trained over 1 million people in the corporate world, because I haven't just worked for the Air Force. I've worked for other companies as well. And so I've interviewed them. Every time I would create a class or a training or a workshop, I love to interview people. I also have 2 books that came out of that came out to be health literacy books for patients, so that the healthcare professionals could understand and communicate better with their patients to understand their health care. Well, within 6 months, I had someone that did that with me, because my at the time I was still didn't have my company yet. The boss that I had at the time, she says, Bella, you need to find someone that is medical, because you need some medical street cred now that you're going to be talking to doctors and nurses, and we went everywhere. We spoke at medical schools, at nursing schools, conferences, hospitals, clinics, nationally, and that's what really started my speaking on stages. I did do a lot of speaking within the corporations, in auditoriums and things like that, but speaking nationally is what took me there, was those 2 books that I did while I was working in the corporate world.
Well, that's awesome. So you're just, a multifaceted woman, just doing a lot of different things. That's awesome. And, last month, April, was Women Empowerment Month, right? And you're just continuing that flow of women who are empowered. So, awesome.
Yeah, actually, that's where I'm moving. And then in the future is I've started doing women conferences, and I still do many, leadership. That's my platform. But I am moving more towards an audience of women now. After this book, Please Fire Me, I Can't Stand My Boss, which is, the title is actually a true story. I was in an HR office with some executives, and we hear this young lady just walk into the room, and she's screaming at the top of her lungs, please fire me. fire me. I can't stand my boss. It's torture coming to work every day. And oh my God, my heart just sank because I was that person. I had worked for a leader that I felt like that. And since then, now that people know the title of my book, they tell me, oh my God, I had a leader like that. I had a leader like that. I had a leader like that. And so they love the title, but the book is actually to build leaders so that they'll create that relationship with their employees so they'll like coming to work, because over 80% of the employees leave their jobs because of their managers or their supervisors. So this is to help build them, to help build a leader of trust and accountability. And this came straight from the employees, thousands of interviews, face-to-face interviews, workshops. It all came down to these 7 principles, and they are how the employees want to be treated. And at first I thought I was going to get some crazy answers, right, Cedrick? Like, right. Yeah, well, you know what? I want my leader to give me a promotion, give me a car, give me the office window. But no, they all just wanted to be treated with respect. And do you know what the number one, of course, in the principles, I have 7 principles, and I listed them in the relevancy. For example, in the book, integrity and competency come first, right? Because if you don't have that, it doesn't matter what else you're trying to teach someone. Right. The employees have to trust you. But the number one complaint from the employees over and over consistently, Cedrick, was that they didn't like their bosses that had favorites.
Yes. Well, you know, we all have. If you spend any time in the working world, you probably had a boss, and you see the key word you said: their boss, their manager, their supervisor. Right? They don't like that person, right? But you didn't say leader. You see, there's a difference, right? That they don't. Yeah, you're right. They don't like the boss. They don't like the manager. They don't like the supervisor. But they never said that they didn't like their leader, because see. Right. Leader means I care. I have that integrity. I have that I treat everybody fair, and may not be equal, but fair, right? Because you may have a little bit more leeway than somebody else because of your experience in a certain area, right? So I love that, and you know, I'm no different. I've worked for bosses that I wanted them to just like I would just rather fire myself and get them under them. So we all had that, right? So.
Yes. And you know, in the book, I have real life stories. Of course, you know, the names are all changed and everything. Mm-hmm. But I have some fascinating stories about great leaders, you know, and then the do's for that. My book's an easy read. Then I also have a story for each principal on the leaders or supervisors that needed coaching. That's all I'm going to say. And then the don'ts for that. So, you know, employees.
So is it like a workbook where you want people to read it, take some notes, write down, okay, here's some do's, and then maybe rank their do's, and so that when they become a leader, then they can implement those type things in their leadership style? Is that?
Well, the book doesn't have that in it, but it does have some questions that they can answer about their current leadership style. Okay. So they can access if they have some of these things that I'm talking about. But I am going to create a workbook that goes with it. So that is definitely going to be part of the program that I'm going to be creating for that. It's going to be a 7-week program, and it's going to be called Please Fire Me, I Can't Stand My Boss. But the subtitle is A High Performance Coaching Tool for Today's Leaders, because that's what it is, you know. Mm-hmm. Supervisors, leaders, I've worked with so many over the years, just like you. And, you know, they don't come to work saying, you know what, I'm going to make my employee's job miserable today. Sure. Absolutely not, you know. Yeah. But they just don't know what they don't know. Sure. And that's why we do what we do, Cedrick, right? Because absolutely. Everybody needs a coach. And you know what? I have some amazing coaches. I have a wonderful coach who's a mastermind. I just came back from this weekend. And he,
Well, wait,
I
you got to tell us about that, but hold on a second. We got to unpack this slowly. We can't give them everything at once.
I know, I'm
All
so
right.
excited. I just got back from this mastermind and it
Oh,
was just full of energy and great, great information and, transformational information. So, that's one of the things that I always recommend to leaders and supervisors and people that want to grow is that you need a coach. You
right,
need a great coach, right?
right,
And one that's already where you want to go, not somebody, not your neighbor, not somebody in your department, not your
right.
family member, but someone who's already been there,
Yeah.
somebody who's at a level to where they've experienced the things that we're moving towards. And that's what kind of coaches I have. I have a wonderful coach that again that went to his mastermind this weekend. So that was amazing.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, and we'll talk about that. So, the book "Please Fire Me, I Can't Stand My Boss"
Yes.
is the target audience for your book is who?
That is for anyone, any supervisor, leader, manager, even the directors, executives that has a team. Anybody that, whether you have one employee or you're leading 20,000 employees, it's for you because the principles, they have to do with who you are as a leader. And people follow the leader first instead of the vision, right?
Right.
They follow the leader. So you need to be the type of leader, that the employees are going to want to come to work and like their jobs. And they're not going to like their jobs if they don't like their leader or their supervisor.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that's very, very important for leaders to understand.
Yes, absolutely. Love it, love it, love it. So, in as a part of your story, you said that you've overcome poverty and great odds. So, what gave you the fortitude to overcome those things? Because so many people come from that world and they stay stuck there. They
Mm-hmm.
can't overcome the challenge. So, what gave you that intestinal fortitude to overcome?
Well, there's certain things, but my very first and number one thing was my faith. Somehow, I didn't know why I was there. I really didn't know. I was homeless for 7 years, but at the end I found out that a family member that was in federal prison stole my identity. And so wherever I try to work, I was coming up as having a federal record, which I didn't. But you know what? God puts an end to everything and everything was cleared. But while I was in that state, of course, it's devastating. You don't know day by day what's going to happen to you. I mean, I really was. I lost my home car, everything. My children had to find another place to live. It was not anything that I would want for anyone. But during that time, you know what I did? I didn't do it right away because I was devastated. I was trying to, it was like survival, trying to get out of that state, right?
Sure.
But when I realized that the only way I was going to get out of that state was, I just had to just figure that out. But while I was figuring that out, I would go to the library and I would read. I didn't have any money. I didn't have a car, but I would go to the library and I would read, and I learned about etiquette, how to use a knife and a fork. Not that I ate with my hands all the time, but I've never been taught any of that. I felt like Titanic, when Leonardo DiCaprio's at the table and he's asking that lady, which fork do I use, And so I had been in scenarios like that. And so, what? I said, I don't want to be in that scenario. So I taught myself, how to have some table manners. I'm not saying that I'm the best. I mean, I still get stuff on my shirt, whatever, I'll go and eat pizza and there I am. I'm wearing a white shirt and it's all over me, right? The spaghetti sauce. But at least I know how to use a knife and a fork when it's appropriate because, and it's something, one time I got a job where the leader told me, the reason I took you to lunch and I hired you, part of that process was watching how you ate.
Oh, wow.
He told me that. He says, because you're going to be in a room with executives and we're going to go out to eat and we have luncheons and things. And we need to make sure that you can carry yourself in that scenario.
Okay. You're not like, hey, give me that roll over there and just grab it.
Let me just reach over and get the salt and put my sleeve on your plate, right?
Yeah.
So I learned that. And, but since then I've taught high school students the etiquette. And
Okay.
I worked for some time with the city, and the parents wanted to always come to that class. So it really is something that people like to learn. But I also learned about art, Cedric. Now I'm not an art expert in any of the topics that I learned, but the other day I started a conversation with a lady. I said, "Is that a Monet?" And she said, "Yes, it's a Monet." And we started talking.
See,
You
I
know.
knew you were cultured. I could just see it.
Well, I taught, if we learn these things, right?
Sure.
We learn it.
Yeah.
So I could probably tell you, if it's again, I'm not an expert, but I can see some of the most famous artists, like Monet or Picasso. I mean, I can kind of tell, uh, Van Gogh. I can kind of tell what their paintings are. And then I also learned about music and movies. Before
Okay.
I only listened to one genre. Now, one of my favorite songs is by Frank Sinatra, the way you look tonight. I learned about the 50s. I learned about Nat King Cole. Oh my God, one of my favorites, Billie Holiday, Louis Armstrong, Sinatra. I learned about these older movies, the films. Now my favorite actor is one of Clark Gable. I never knew who he was. Those things are just things I never knew. I just never knew. So those are the things that I did when I was homeless. And you know what? I've used them all now. Little did I know that I was going to help others by knowing some of those things, making connections by knowing some of those things. But I
Sure.
love teaching people. And one of my favorite things is when I can teach someone something that I know and provide value in their life. It's all about giving back to people.
Yeah, that's awesome. See, I said earlier that our guiding leadership principle is the law of contribution. Growing yourself enables you to grow others. You see,
Right.
you're a
Absolutely.
living testimony for yourself. So there you go.
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the things that, of course, our coaches, and we have this in common because you're on the John Maxwell team too, right? You're an
Hmm.
executive on that team, and I'm part of the John Maxwell team as well. And our coaches are absolutely amazing. And I know that they've taught us, that law of servant, be a servant leader, always add value to people, make sure that you're giving more than you're receiving and things like that. And those things work. They work very well for leaders because, the employees are always paying attention. Always.
Yes.
I remember in the military, I used to work with this wonderful, amazing, he was a full bird colonel. That story's in my book too. And, at that rank, you don't have to do a lot of things anymore that you did while you were getting there, right? Like
Right.
clean when there's an inspection coming, right?
Right. Yeah, right.
And so I remember they were all getting ready for an inspection and everybody was, all hands on deck. And he comes out there and he starts wiping some of the cabinets and immediately, the soldiers, sir, we'll get that for you. And he tells them, you know what, we're together and we're together and everything. And they walked away smiling, but that wasn't all he did. He would visit people in the hospital. One time there was a soldier who, didn't have family and there were no flowers at the funeral home. He ordered several arrangements for them, for the soldier. He didn't say a word, but you know what? Everything he did, we noticed. And when he left, he had the biggest retirement ceremony. People from his childhood came in for it. That just shows a lot about a giving leader. Yes, don't get me wrong. You have to have integrity. You have to have competence. You have to have confidence. You have to know your job. He
Right.
already knew how to do all that.
Right.
But the secret sauce is how you treat your employees. How do you make them feel? Do you
Absolutely.
respect them? Do you know their talents? Are you building them for more leaders? Are you creating more leaders?
Right.
What type of legacy are you leaving? I never forgot him because he would even go as far as, if they needed a microwave or something, he didn't wait for the budget to come in. He would get all that for them. He was a unique leader that I will always remember. And it was all about how he made people feel.
Well, there you go. That right there is makes all the difference in the world. People may not remember what you do, they may not remember what you said, but they're always going to remember how you made them feel, right? So
Absolutely. When I'm doing workshops or when I'm coaching people, I always tell them, the people that you're leading right now, 30 years from now, when they see you somewhere or when your name comes up, they're never going to remember what projects you worked on, what awards you even got. The first thing that's going to come to their mind is how you treated them.
right,
How did you make them feel? That's the very first thing that's going to come to their mind. So,
right.
what type of leader do you want to be?
Yeah, that is phenomenal. That is awesome. Audience, you just heard it right here from one of the best, Bella Cruz. What type of leader do you want to be? When 30 years from now, they're not going to remember what reward you got. 30 years from now, they're not going to remember all the job things that you did in your job. They're going to remember how you made them feel. Great question, Bella. So she's challenging you tonight to think about that, right? Think into that. So, Bella, you have $1 million smile. Every time I
Thank you.
see you online or whatever, you are just like this big, bright smile. So, what makes you smile when you get up in the morning?
Well, again, I have to bring it back to my faith because, my center is God. I mean,
Mhm.
without Him, I have nothing. So I know that no matter what happens, and it goes back to being homeless as well. I mean, I remember those days. I don't talk about it. I mean, it's past. I've grown from it. I use it to help others, but it really does make a difference when you know who's leading you, and
Yes,
that's who leads me.
yes, absolutely. Well, that's phenomenal. Thanks very much for that. So you're always on the go. You're always at some function. I told you a couple of weeks ago when we were talking that every time I see you, you're in Cairo, Egypt, and London. You're somewhere right now. Maybe in COVID times you were not as
Yeah,
far,
no,
but before
yeah.
you're always traveling somewhere or on some stage somewhere. So how do you get all the energy to just keep doing that, keep going all the time?
I tell you, it's all the beautiful people that I work with. Uh, it's just helping each other. We all help each other. You get to meet people globally, and they're in the same business you are, and it's just like anything. It's just like local. You get to know who they are. We share things. We help each other. We help build each other, and we also, it's also about our families. It's also about our businesses. So we are there. We actually are focused on those things. And and this is part again what I learned this weekend. You're gonna attract who you are.
Mhm.
And I learned about the spirit of opulence this week, which has so much to do with what we say and what we want out of the world, what we want out of the universe. And so, you have to corporations, they have visions and missions, right?
Right.
So we have to have those too. What do you want? What do you work for in life? What do you do? And you have to go out there and you have to take it too. Like, a lot of the speaking engagements, they do reach out to me. They and social media, they do reach out to me, but sometimes you have to reach out to them as
For
well.
sure.
My mentor told me when I first started doing this, Bella, get on those podcasts. And I tell you what, everything that could go wrong went wrong. I
Mhm.
even cried. Everything was going crazy. So, but he says, just do it, just do it, just do it, just do it. So nothing is ever going to be perfect. And you know what? That's, I think, one of the hardest things because I'm still learning every day is for me is that I'm learning that not everything has to be perfect. Just get out there and do it, and the doors will open for you when you do that. Just get out there and do it. Do what you need to do.
Yeah, just get out there and be you. And perfection is probably never going to be there because one person may see it as perfect, and you may see a whole lot of flaws, or vice versa, right? So, yeah, just get out there and do it. So, if a client was sitting right here, right now, if I said, "Let me open this door," ding dong, there's one of your clients coming through the door, right? What would they say about you and the service that you provide to them?
Well, she hangs around with great people like Cedrick. She knows people.
I'm gonna have to have Bella on my show every night because she knows how to get. All right.
Yes. Well, every name comes with a reputation. And as you know, Cedrick, we were talking before the show, and you say a lot of your work is word of mouth.
Yeah.
And it is when you do a great job and you really care about the people, that you get results while you're doing it. A lot of my projects have to do with lean, lean, identifying the pain points of an organization. You use the methodology to find their current state and their future state. You implement and then you test. It's a process, but you're going to get results, and you're going to get the leadership, support. I won't do those events without leadership support, executive leader support, because there's always going to be changes and modifications and policies and things like that. And if not, you did it for nothing, right? Sure. So a big part of it is learning. I learn every day. I keep learning, but you have to be good at what you're doing. You have, like I have certificates, I have my education, I have the experience of working with people all these years. So I think what they're going to say is, you know what, Bella Cruz, she cares about us, but she's also going to get results for us. She's going to teach us and help us build to get to the next level.
Awesome. So, Bella, we have a segment on here that is called Would You Rather? So we're going to play a little round of Would You Rather, all right?
Oh, great. Do we have audience for that?
Yes, we do have audience for this.
Oh, my goodness.
The audience, you guys can participate as well. So you can put your responses to these Would You Rather questions in the in the comments. So would you rather meet your great-grandparents or your great-grandchildren?
Oh, my goodness. Well, I already have great-grandchildren. Oh. That's a tough one, But I think my grandparents, because one of the things that I've learned in life is about generational blessings, right? Yes. And also the wisdom that they had. What can they teach me that I don't know yet? Tell me about my ancestors. I would love to meet them. Of course, the grandchildren are everything to me, and I'm sure they're to anyone who has a grandchild, but I don't have any parents anymore. I don't have any grandparents. To know my great-grandparents would be just an absolute conversation that I would love to have right now with them.
Well, that's awesome. So audience, again, you can put your responses in here. Would you rather have a life rewind button or a life pause button?
Oh my goodness. That's a good one, Cedrick. Sometimes I need a pause button. And sometimes I do reflect on the rewinds as well, because, that's what makes you who you are. It really does. Everything is not perfect. No one is perfect. This world isn't perfect. But you know what? There's also a lot of extraordinary things that we can do every day to help people. And that's why we're here on this earth. We're here to we're here to provide services and to help others grow. We're here to be philanthropists. You're a philanthropist too, Cedrick. Yeah. I know you are, and I love that part of life when you can give back. It's just amazing. We can't help the entire world, but if each of us helps someone, then the world is going to be a better place.
Absolutely. So rewind or pause?
Oh my goodness. Well, sometimes I do need to pause, but gosh, sometimes you still use the rewind. I still use the rewind,
Okay, rewind. All right. Yeah. So would you rather, this was going to be tough for you, I know it. Would you rather no one show up at your wedding or no one show up at your funeral?
Geez, Cedrick. Now that's not going to happen. Okay, this is just all hypothetical, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that the wedding would probably be the one, because at a funeral, that's where you're really leaving your legacy for others. Sure. That's when I think that's when whatever you did in life is going to be. It's going to be, brought to the forefront, I think, at the end of life, Sure. So okay. I'm going to pick my funeral.
Okay. All right. So would
I
you
don't know. Is
rather be,
there a right or wrong answers to this,
no,
Cedric?
there's not. There's not.
I
Um,
would love to see what the audience is saying.
would you rather get stuck in an elevator or stuck on a ski lift?
Oh my God, I'm afraid of heights. It depends which one has the most people around, because that way I can get help. So if there's a bunch of people around a ski lift, I would rather get stuck there instead of an elevator where no one's going to hear me.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, boy, you won't even do either one of these, but I'm gonna ask you anyway. Would you rather go skydiving or bungee jumping?
Oh my God, yeah. Which one's closer to the earth?
Well, when you get there, you'll know.
Yeah, you couldn't pay me $1 million. I think the only way I would jump out of the airplane is if we had to for survival. But that they'd have to push me out. I think I'd be. I don't know about that. Yeah.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
So, would you rather be best friends with your favorite celebrity forever or date your celebrity crush for only 2 years?
I don't. Let's see. Can you repeat that again?
Yes. You would be best friends forever with your favorite celebrity or date your celebrity crush for only 2 years.
Oh no, I think I'd rather have a friend, a
Your-
lifelong friend. Yeah.
All right.
Wait a minute. Who's a celebrity?
See. Would you rather be a ninja or a pirate?
You know what? I love watching those movies with ninjas. I do. I love when they fly in the air and they do all those amazing,
They throw
stunts
the
and everything.
star. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the superpowers.
Yes.
So I love when they do all that. But you know what I like about it too? At the very beginning, they always show the discipline, and they always have values and principles that they have to obey before they can get to that extent. And they always teach them it's for the good and not for evil.
Sure,
So,
absolutely.
yeah. But of course, I love all that flying in the air and all the tricks that they do.
All right, so you'll be the ninja. All right, last one. Would you rather have $1 million in Amazon gift cards or $100,000 in real money?
I'll take the cards.
Amazon gift cards.
Well,
Okay.
I don't know though, because it depends if I have an investment. If I have an investment going on, I probably will take the money and then create the money to buy me all those Amazon cards.
Okay. All right.
Great question, Cedric. I hope everybody's enjoying them as much as we are.
Yes, thank you for playing that round of Would You Rather. All right, so let's dive back in here. Leaders come in all different types of sizes and different type of strengths, right? What strengths do you feel are important for successful leaders to have? Give us, 2 or 3 leaders.
Well, I absolutely think the very first one is to always be a servant leader. Christ was like that, and I think that being a servant leader is very, very, very important. You have to have integrity. These are the first 2 in my book. You have to have integrity. These are the first 2 principles, because if people don't trust you, they are not going to follow you. And then you have to have confidence. You have to know your job. You have to be great at what you do. So don't do things for the money. Do things that create passion for you, because now you can be creative and you can help others. So I say be a servant leader, have integrity, have competence. It's a continuous learning process for any leader in this world. Then you have to have compassion for the people, and you have to learn who they are, who they truly are, because the employees are the ones that know what challenges your customers are having. What are the customers saying? Where are the bottlenecks? Where are you stuck? And you know what happens with most supervisors? They'll say, what project are you working on? Mm-hmm. And that's all they say. Instead of saying, what went well with you this week? Where are you stuck? What are our customers saying about us?
Right.
And those are the kind of questions you need to be asking your team, because now you're getting the details of how to solve these problems. How do I know that? I've done so many lean events, and when we get to the future state, a lot of the answers come from their employees. And do you know that a lot of the supervisors have stopped and they've told me, Bella, I can't believe that came from my team.
Team.
And I'm like, well, have you ever stopped to ask them?
Right.
They're just not asking the right questions.
Mm-hmm.
They're not asking the right questions.
Yes.
So you have to be able to ask the right questions as a leader as well.
Sure. Absolutely. Love it. So good leaders ask great questions.
John Maxwell.
Right?
John Maxwell.
So what are some good questions what are some questions that you thought, wow, these are great questions? Maybe you asked them or someone asked you that question.
Well, when it comes to coaching, right? Because I know that both you and I do that. One of the first questions, and I learned this from hearing John Maxwell. This is why we always need to have leaders and coaches and things. He said the very first question that he asked is, what do you need coaching on? What do you want us to coach you on? Because it's so true. Because some people may not even be in the zone you think they're going to be in by the time you finish. And, as we ask questions with our clients, sometimes it's not what we think it's going to be from the very beginning.
Right.
You know that as you ask the questions. And then I always ask them, of course, how I like to ask them, what are the issues at work that are keeping you up at night? What is making you lose sleep at night? Sometimes it's not even something at work. Mm-hmm. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a marriage counselor or anything like that. But then we bring it back to the work. So what's keeping you up at night? Why do you have this problem? What have you already done about this? What is the main thing that you would change about this problem? What does success look like to you? Things like that. And then you're getting all the information that you need to know to start solving their problems, helping them solve the problems. So basically, it's all about what their pain points are.
Yes, absolutely.
Because we're there to help them. We're not there to talk about us. We're there to help them. And supervisors, leaders, executives, that's what happens that we should do. We are there to find out about the team, not about us. You already know what your projects are. You want to know about what's really happening. You want to know about some of the great things that the team can tell you about, especially the failures. Look at failures as an opportunity, like a GPS, just to reroute. When you create a safe environment for the employees to ask those questions, where did you get stuck? And you reward them for them, it's like gold, because now you're really solving the issues that they're having with your customers, the people that are helping you create that revenue for your company.
Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. So, Bella, sometimes, so many times, new entrepreneurs, they want to give up or throw in the towel because they're getting a lot of no's and rejections, and they just don't, they can't handle the rejection. So they want to throw in the towel. So there's maybe someone that's listening right now, or they're going to listen to the recording later. And so what message would you give to them?
Well, one of the greatest things, and I learned this myself, Cedrick, this is coming from personal experience. When I started my company, the first year was crickets. Okay. I didn't know what I didn't know. Mm-hmm. And the second year, I started getting momentum. You know why? I got a coach. You have to have coaches. You have to invest in yourself. I think that's one of the biggest things that I can say is to get coaches, make sure that you're investing in yourself, and look at the investment. The first investment is you. So I say you get a coach, because that's when I started getting, what I really needed to do. They've already been there. They know these things. They've already done it. They know what works, what doesn't work. Save time, and they have such great wisdom when you hire the right coach and the mentor, and make sure that you get the right coach and mentor for you. Make sure that they're a good fit for you, and that they're not just they're selling.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Thank you for providing that advice. So, what's one of the most defining moments? What has been one of the most defining moments of your life so far this year?
Oh, this year?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that one of the most defining moments for me is to finally finish my book. So again, I'm not perfect either. I had to go through several publishers, a couple of publishers.
Uh-oh. Seemed like we might have lost our guest, but we will keep right along. And when she comes back, we'll start the interview again. Hey, folks, tonight we're talking to the great Miss Bella Cruz. And Bella is an author. She is a speaker. She's a coach. She travels all over the world speaking. She's won multiple awards speaking. So we're gonna get her back on here soon, and when her internet gets corrected, then she'll be back on. And but I want to tell you guys, look, today is the day that you've been waiting for forever. There's no reason to continue to wait and hope and dream and worry about things that are maybe not happening the way that you want them to happen. Maybe things are not going the way that you want it to go. But I want to tell you, folks, because you are breathing, because you have life, things are going way better than you think that they are. All you have to do is open your eyes and look for opportunities right where you are. You don't have to go anywhere else to find opportunities. Just look for them right where you are. And I will tell you what, folks, when you start looking for opportunities right where you are, they will start coming to you. And let me give you some examples. You see, sometimes people are looking for a new job. They're looking for new business, all of these places all around, except for right where they are. Right in front of them, there's an opportunity. People have been coming to your door knocking, saying, hey, we would like you to come to do this. Or, hey, have you thought about this, right? And you ignore those things because you're looking for something bigger out there, right? It's sort of like the farmer who had he bought this big farm and had all his land, and he was looking for this great wealth all over the world. He would go to different places and say, I know that I'm supposed to be rich and I'm supposed to be wealthy, and he was looking in all the wrong places. Right on his property, he actually found some stones, and he didn't realize that they were diamonds because he didn't know what rough diamonds look like. Well, eventually he was so frustrated with life that he decided to kill himself. He jumped in a river and drowned himself. Now, here's what happened. The land was sold, and someone else came and got and bought the property from him, and they found out that he had a rich iron ore. Just give me 1 second, folks. He found out that he
Okay. Okay, hold on. I can't hear you. Hold on.
The guy was frustrated with where he was, and so he jumped in a river and he drowned himself. Well, they sold his land after he died, and here's what happened. When they started looking around his property, they found out that he had a diamond mine on his acreage. Right. So my point is, going back to you looking all over the place for opportunities instead of looking right where you are, right in front of you. This guy had the richest diamond mines in the world right in his yard, but he was looking everywhere else, thinking the grass is greener somewhere else, thinking his riches were somewhere else. They were right here with him, right in front of him. And it's the same thing with you. You may be looking somewhere else for opportunity. You may be looking somewhere else for a new job, for a new career, for a new whatever. All you have to do is look right where you are. Open your eyes sometimes. Open yourself up to questions. Open yourself up to the possibilities. And all of a sudden, opportunity will be right in front of you. And so, hey, Bella, welcome back.
Hey, we're having a storm here in Texas, and the lights went off and on. And when they did that, it knocked the computer out. So,
okay, yeah, no problem. All right, so let's just dive right back into where we were. So, Bella, growth has to be intentional, right?
Yes.
So, what do you do for personal growth yourself?
Well, of course, I read books and I watch webinars and I attend masterminds that other people are having, and I have a coach as well. I have a couple of coaches. So
okay, and I understand you attended a mastermind this weekend.
Yes, I did. I did with my coach Paul Martinelli. He is an amazing coach. I've been with him for a couple of years now. And I will tell you, and I'm not just saying this, a coach makes all the difference in the world. And we were with an amazing team, and it's just transformational change every time that I meet or go to a mastermind. But this one was specifically Paul Martinelli really knows how to put those masterminds together, and he's got a very successful track record as well. So yeah. I was honored to be part of that mastermind. And again, it just takes an investment in yourself. It's a continuous learning journey. I will continue to learn until the day I leave this world,
Yes, absolutely. So you left the great confines of San Antonio and you went down to the beautiful Florida, Jupiter, Florida, right? Yeah. So you were enjoying the nice weather on the beach.
Well, I didn't get to go to the beach, but I certainly did get to meet many, many wonderful people that were in that mastermind. And I learned so much, something new, and, something that I'll be applying to my life as well. Of course, it's going to take practice and discipline.
Sure.
Absolutely. And work, it's going to take work, but I learned something that's going to help me so much in my life move forward and jump me to the next level because of that mastermind.
Well, awesome. So this is where you can actually help the audience. A lot of times people go to events, mastermind, they go to conferences, and sometimes they leave and everything that they learn, they leave there and they go back to their house and they don't do anything with, because they left everything that they learned right at the conference.
Right.
So you said, hey, look, I'm going to use some of this stuff in my life. Right.
Absolutely. Paul was saying this in his mastermind when he started it, and I totally agree with him. He was saying, that he was responsible for the mastermind, but the people in the room were responsible for what happens after the mastermind. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yes.
So, it really is up to the person. Now, when I worked for the corporate world, and I'll say, I was guilty of this, not every time, don't get me wrong. I always took things very seriously. I'm always a student, right? I'm always a student. But there were some conferences at the very beginning of my career when I didn't know what I didn't know, right? And I would go and I would sit through them, and then I would just go and, put the workbook, away, and probably never opened it again. But the responsibility also is held to the person attending the seminar, the workshop, the session, whether they're in front of their employee, it's all about accountability and responsibility. I've experienced this, but I've also heard many, many, many employees talk about this. They're meeting with their supervisors, because this is about leadership, and this is things in my book as well. The supervisors when they're meeting with another person, another peer, they have all the attention, and the respect there, especially if it's someone that is at another level. But
Sure.
when they meet with their employees, some of them, many of them, because I've seen it, they will sit there on their computer with their backs to the employee while they're having a meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you should see some of those comments that are, why am I here? I don't matter. It's all about the relationship with the leader. How do you make them feel? I'm not saying if you have an emergency not to answer your
Sure.
phone, but just, you choose who you want to have respect for. Well, their team is a huge part of your,
Absolutely.
they were hired to help you, not to be in silos.
Absolutely.
Accountability is a huge part of it when they go to a conference and seminar, just like you're saying, but it's also for people, in whatever they're doing. So, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So you're home by yourself. No one's there. No one's gonna know. It's just you and your four walls.
Yes.
What dessert are you gonna eat?
What dessert?
Yes.
Well, you're talking my language, Cedrick. How did you know? I love dessert. That is my weakness, actually.
Okay. All right.
But
That's good to know.
I think my favorite is chocolate. I love a cake that's made from scratch with a thick fudge, chocolatey icing
I see. Okay.
with ice cream and coffee. I just absolutely love that. But I like all kinds of desserts. I have all kinds of desserts. So,
Okay. All right.
yeah.
All right. So you're a dessert person. All right. That's good to know.
Yeah, no, I love desserts. I love all kinds of desserts, but I think chocolate is my favorite. The one that tastes like fudge.
Okay. All right. So what's your favorite vacation spot and why?
Well, there's so many places I still want to go, but I love to go. The ocean. When there's an ocean, I absolutely get mesmerized, and I just love the ocean. I love being around the ocean.
So anywhere there's water, then okay.
Right. It reminds me when you hear the waves and the roars and that big, massive body of water,
Yeah.
the scripture that says that God puts the boundaries on the ocean. And it just reminds me of how great he is. So it's a little snapshot to me, a little bit reminder of, we're just this, we're in this world, but there's a force much greater and much mightier than I am that is here to help me live through each day.
Awesome. 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 So my final question for you is, if there was a book written about you, okay, what would the title of the book be? And what would the summary in the back of the book say about you?
Oh my goodness. One thing that would definitely be said is that I love my family. That I love my family. I love God. I love my family. But I also love the people that I get to serve. And, I'll go back to my faith, which says, she was a good and faithful servant. So.
Okay. Awesome. So, but what was the title of the book though? You said.
Oh my goodness. Let's see. I'm usually good with titles. How about Bella's last words? I don't know.
All right. Bella's last words. Okay.
Love yourself first. Yeah.
Love yourself first. Okay. All right. I got that. So I always like to write that down. So when is that book coming out? That's the good question.
That book's not going to come out for a while. I've got to write first about other things.
Okay. All right. Well, Bella, it has been a pleasure having you on the show tonight. I thoroughly enjoyed having you here. Hopefully you had a good time as well. Audience, we have been talking for the last hour with Ms. Bella Cruz. And Bella has a A book. When's the book going to be available?
Well, it should be coming out within the next 4 to 6 weeks. But, as a thank you gift for all the listeners today, I'd like to give you the first chapter of my book. If you go to pleasefiremebook.com, you can get the first chapter of my book, or you could go to Bella Cruz Tips and get those 3 questions that I was telling everyone about that they can ask their teams to start getting those details so that they can get information from their teams to help them move to the next level.
All right. So pleasefiremefirst.com.
Please Fire Me Book.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Pleasefiremebook.com and get the first chapter of my book. And then the second gift I'd like to give them, if they want to ask their teams questions to get the details, where you're getting stuck, what are those questions that they can get details for their team, is to go to bellacruztips.com and they'll get those 3 questions ready to go. They can use them today or tomorrow with their teams already.
Okay, pleasefiremebook.com. I'm actually putting that in the comments so that people can get that. And for some reason, so I need to put it on my phone here so that I see. I'm
going to have to let my puppy out the door. He doesn't know I'm on a webinar. I don't think he understands what webinar.
Oh, okay. No, go ahead and do that. I'll handle the show while you do that. So I'm going to put this.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I didn't realize he was inside the office.
That's okay. I'll put this in the comments so that people can get it. Qdo, I see that you put it in the comments for me. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Please fire
mebook.com.
Book. Yes.com. All right. That's in the comment section. So now that you can get that, and you can, I'll tell you what, this has not been a great day for me to put comments. I keep.
If I can fit it in there too. Again, we're having
firemebook.com. There we go. Perfect. Got it in there. Thank you guys very much for being patient. I got it in there right now. So, hey, folks, thank you for tuning in again tonight for another version of Talk Leadership with Cedrick. Every Monday night at 6:30 p.m. Central Time, we're here. Every Tuesday night at 5:30 Central Time, we'll be here. Tomorrow night, my guest is going to be Miss Desiree Clay. And let me tell you what, she has a powerful story to tell. It's a sad story, but it also has a happy ending. And I shouldn't have said it that way, but I want to tell you folks, it's a very nice. It's going to be a very nice interview tomorrow night, 5:30 Central Time. Talk Leadership with Cedrick will be here 6:30 Central Time. Then follow us over to the Empowered Living channel, and we will be doing an interview tomorrow night at 6:30 Central Time. It's going to be a great interview. Come back here Wednesday at noon. Catch Cut the Cord with Cedrick and Joanna Rincon. And then Thursday, I also have Talk Leadership with Cedrick on Thursday afternoon. Friday morning at 8:30, catch me with Friday Mental Motivation. And I'm bring it to you. I'm going to bring you the word in 10 or 15 minutes and get you pumped up, ready to go for your Friday to end the week strong. And then you can go out there and have a great weekend. Thank you, folks. And, as I always tell you, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu, and don't be on the menu. Thank you again, Bella, for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. I had such a great time. And thank you to your audience for being with us today. And thank you for everything. I look forward to another time with you, Cedrick.
Absolutely. You have an open invitation to my show. You are a great guest tonight. So I'm going to make sure I get you back on here and maybe we'll have some dessert right over the air.
I can't wait till they do like the Jetsons where you can just,
yes.
you could come up with the dessert.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're going to make sure that happens. Well, thank you guys. Good night. Bye-bye.